Morning everybody, welcome to Stockradar.Stocks on the move for another week. My name is Richard Lee. I'm managing Stockradar.com.au website for you. Another exciting week as we usually have. All markets rallies, there's been a bit of a climb in gold and indices, but they're all getting to resistance areas now, so we've got to watch out for new challenges and also for our market as well, the ASX 200. We'll have a look at that a bit later on. Interesting, but as always, there are stocks to ride higher, and we'll go through some of those today. We're trying to catch a wave in a few stocks, which are running on quite well. For those that don't know me, education is my primary focus with commentary, videos, blogs and newsletter, all there to support the trading centre. The concept of leading by example is what I try and do. So I try and play the full gamut there. Trading is not just about charts, there's a lot more to it than that. And in talking about these things, we try and do it in a real, transparent and honest way so you understand clearly what you're in for and what you can get out of these markets. Okay, so let's get to the top 10 and top 10 trend intensity rankings and see where they are. Okay, now there's an awful lot this week, but I'm just going to go through a few here today. We've got APE up the top, BLD you can see there, Boral doing quite well still. Brambles is climbing slowly, a good report today by the sound of it. Chalice, Chorus, Degree Mining, Evolution, there's a couple of gold stocks in there, Northern Star, Proesis and Rare Group. But if we actually go to the trading centre and look at the top 10, you can actually see there's an awful lot more than just those 10 there. So that's just purely a group of them there. There's other ones in there, Wesfarmers, T&E, Web, lots of stocks in there at the moment with top 10 ratings. So there's some stocks ploughing ahead quite nicely. Okay, so this week in trading tactics, I want to talk about the switch. The switch when you move from that downtrend to uptrend, it takes a period to occur, but we're looking for that point and we're actually likely to get that actually switch in sentiment that's going to trigger a bit more buying. So we'll have a look at that. At the moment, that's really an odds supported by evidence case there. So we'll have a look at that in trading tactics a bit later on. Okay, so now let's get to the markets. Dow, as I said before, it's sort of got to resistance. It's rallied quite nicely. It's hit a bit of resistance here. We've got a reasonable amount of volume here. This has just turned positive. So there's every chance that it could do, but it needs to get through this level here, up around 34.5, something like that at the moment. So it's just below there. In an interesting situation, we have a lower high here, so we have a real battle going on here at the moment. Wouldn't it be exciting to see it break higher? But anyway, we'll wait and see what happens there. The S&P also is at resistance. It's climbed this wall a few times. The encouraging thing is we've got some nice lower highs here. Higher lows. Pushing this area with some reasonable volume here. This is turning up, so every chance this is going to give this a really good shake. So keep an eye on this one. I know there's a lot of bearish sentiment around, and I saw one indicator last night that was actually at its most bearish, and that's probably not a bad sign if you're worrying about the market, because it may well go straight back up again. So, but we'll let the charts tell us at the moment. It's trying and it's having a go, but resistance needs to be broken. Nasdaq's a bit similar again. It's got this area around here, a big sort of large area, but this is probably the main area with some reasonable volume going through. This is turning positive. It's above the average, so all signs are good. We just need to break above that resistance there to really get it on the move again. Okay, gold, the other one, is just stuttering and teasing us at resistance here. It's been here for about 4 or 5 weeks. It's slowly going higher, which is a good sign. The sellers haven't hit it. It's trying very hard. There's a bit of a sign of life down here, and this is very positive. So, okay, we've picked up a few gold stocks. We hope it goes through. If it doesn't, we'll be running for cover, maybe. But anyway, for the moment, we'll see what happens there. Copper, again, marking time. Really not much here. I guess, again, you've got these higher lows here, which is a good sign. We've had this resistance up here. This is just really, it's corrective by nature, but it's going on for a long time and high volume. So a little bit unsure of that copper one as to where the next move is going to take us on that one there. Brent crude again, we had a little bump from last week. It bumped into resistance and stopped. So we've still got this key here at around about $88 on Brent. Some reasonable volume pushing it. Momentum still weak, so it's a very mixed picture. The scene is really down, the trend is down, and that's our primary force at the moment. Okay, so that's the overseas markets. Now let's go to the ASX 200 quickly and have a look at that. Again, a similar picture here. We can see down here the momentum is actually just staying positive at the moment, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. That's a good sign. Let's just click back in here and have a bit of a good look at this one here. The ASX 200 now, you can see it's closed pretty high, it's nearly at the old highs here. We've had a good rally here. I think I noted to you last week there's some very heavy volume here, so it's not such a good move at this stage. It's quite powerful on a momentum stage. but substance-wise, not so sure. I really need to see it get through this 7629 to suggest we're going to get a good rally. Because we have a lot of highs here of resistance that hasn't been able to get through. Whether it can get through now, I don't know. Might need some impetus from some overseas markets, some commodities, I don't know, but we'll just have to mark time and let it tell us what's going to happen. Let the market come to us. Okay, so that's the ASX 200. We can just go now and have a look at the stock pick count, which is up another 3 this week to 50, which is good. So slowly working away a bit there. 44 stock picks, so we've got 3 new stock picks this week of 160, and the ETFs are still 6 mainly indice-related ETFs there. So that's not a bad picture. On the portfolio side of things, they're all full, all of a sudden. All full again. We lost a few there, but we're back to being full again. Conservative, Energizer 5, Energizer 10, the Energizer 5 from August 20 and the Energizer 5 from March 21 are all full and doing okay. 100% equities at the moment, apart from conservative portfolio, of course, which is always a little bit of a background one. So that's a portfolio update as of last Friday. Okay, so that's all that stuff. Now, now we can get into having look at a few stocks. Okay, remember I'm keeping this switch concept in the back of our mind today, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in trading tactics. But this is Goodman Group. Okay, so we've had a big downtrend here. We had a rally, a trend reversal here. It went off pretty well, but it's been fairly. A lot of these ones came back quite a long way. But this one has held, it's holding support, it's just holding support at the moment. So we're just sort of having to mind ourselves here at the moment. The trend is slowly turning. This is not given up. We've got high lows here. So we'll give this one here where stop still in place. Trend intensity rating is still +7. Okay, so when we look at this chart here, we look at these areas here, when we get this build up of a low of volume, trend reversal pattern starts to develop, we need those other things that can help us. And we firstly look for the moving average, which is here, the downtrend line, which is here, and also the horizontal resistance line, which represents a trend reversal line. So they're 3 things you want to look for. It will occur in different ways and different shapes and sizes, but that's really what we're looking for to give us a trigger. It may not be exactly on the day, but it's going to give you an idea of when the sentiment is likely to happen. It did happen very well, but it got knocked in the head. And these things happen in markets. The reality is that markets go up and down, and we need to prepare for those and sit through those sort of stages. So we're sitting through this one in Goodman Group at the moment, remembering in the background it has had a 40% fall from high to low. Okay, Wesfarmers is slowly getting on its feet. We quite like it at the moment. It's in a similar sort of thing. We've had these low highs, starting to build this trend pattern. It's making new highs at the moment. There's a bit of volume appearing here. The momentum index is positive. It was down 38%, so another sort of 38% correction. The trend intensity rating is 9 as it kicks higher. So everything looks sound. It's just been a bit of a slow rise. We always like these things to go faster than they do. But this one's just going to do it in its own time, as they always do, these markets. So Wesfarmers looking pretty good. And again here, this had a trend line much earlier. It didn't break its average till a bit later, and then we got the horizontal line. So that whole area there was the area we're looking at in Wesfarmers there. But we did get the break up above here, which did confirm that switch idea. I'm going to tabulate it a little bit more closely later on, so you can have a look at it. Okay, BlueScope Steel. Another one that's doing really nicely at the moment. It had a 40% correction, some good buying down here. It's now sent a good volume here. It's pushed through here, gave us a really good signal back here. Okay, and we've got this switch area here where we get the horizontal line going through here, the moving average and the downtrend line. That is my point. That is where I'm really looking for this market to take off again, and it does take off quite nicely. Again, remember, markets don't go one way all the time, but it's rising nicely. The trend is developing. Downtrend, accumulation, uptrend is what we're looking for. So this is all positive here. The volumes are okay. It was good yesterday, good this week, and the momentum is very positive. So we like this chart, and trend intensity rating is 8, and it's developing a nice little uptrend there for BlueScope. WiseTech, I really just show this. This is just stock has just rolled on higher and higher and higher, and even now it's making new highs, up about 10% since their entry back here already. It's a bit hard to see the volume just there. I'll just click that back a bit. You can see the reasonable amount of volume here going through here. But we just went sideways for a year or so here, then it broke higher again, and it looks like it's off again. In the longer term scheme of things, the prevailing uptrend, which is what we have here at the moment, trend intensity rating is +9. It just keeps moving higher and higher, keeps bolting on things, keeps consolidating businesses, and is doing very nicely, WiseTech. Okay, now the tourism area. This is another recent entry. WiseTech was a recent entry. Webjet's also a recent entry. Again, we see that the low down there, we can see the sideways trading range here, which it broke out of back here in sort of January this year, and it's slowly moved to a little box there for a sideways movement. It's now breaking higher again. So Webjet is looking pretty good as confidence grows in this industry. Trend intensity rating is 10, so everything is looking okay here. Let me just get rid of that stuff there so you can actually see a bit more about what we've got here. Okay, so we can see down here the volume. Okay, so we can see some reasonable volume here on this big upswing here. It's been okay through here without being crazy. Sometimes these stocks are hard to get hold of, but everything else is positive. It's above the average. Momentum is looking good, and volume is supportive enough for us at the moment. The trend intensity rating is 10 for Webjet, and it's looking for pretty good indeed. Broken out of a trading range, so we expect some sort of move up, roughly the distance of this trading range for this trend to take us. Okay, so that's Webjet. Now, our tip for the week is probably Breville Group. Probably not a really imminent sort of break, but it's an interesting chart, and I always like interesting charts. I like to talk about them. I like to discuss them with you and see if we can help work out what is going on. So, with Breville, let me just get what I want to see in here. Okay, so we've got our downtrend, clear downtrend in price from the highs up around $34. It got down to about 16, so it cut itself in about a half. Okay, now BRG is not making new lows. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 points here showing there is very good support. That's really the first port of call that I want to see. A stock has support. Downtrend support, which is the accumulation, which is really what I want to see. Sometimes they take a while, sometimes they don't. This one's taking a while. But if we just have a look at this one, okay, I just lost it again. Okay. So we've got the sideways trading reaction here. We've got the downtrend line, the moving average line, which has really been broken. It's just trading up and down above it, which is very typical of a trading range. We did get a move up here. We got a rally here last time. It tested the highs here, almost got through. Some reasonable amount of volume. Momentum wasn't quite on board. It was just above the average, but it failed quite badly here, and you can see the selling whacked this stock right back down to the lows here at S1. So that really was put things back a little bit. We're climbing a bit tentatively at the moment. Not such good volume. It's okay. Momentum index is still recovering. We're moving above the average, but it really looks like this area here is really what we want to see. So how long this is going to take, I don't know, but it's turning into quite a good solid pattern. And when it does break out, it will give us a good move. Now, remembering this build-up is developing well. Support is there. We just need more compelling evidence the price wants to go up. And if we look over here, the trend intensity rating is still -5, and that's not such a good thing. So we need more work to be done yet before we're convinced this one's going to go up. But it's certainly worth watching it, putting on your watch file and waiting and watching, because when it does go up, it'll have a good little run, I would think, towards R1 once this accumulation is finally finished. Okay, so that's Breville. That's one you can keep an eye on, put in your back pocket. Stockland, we looked at last week. Again, it was surprising because some of the property stocks, they bounced up and they came all the way back. And this one suddenly has taken off again. So Stockland's still looking pretty good, making new highs again yesterday for the move. And it's got a trend intensity rating of 10. Because, quite simply, everything is positive. The trend is reversed to up. It's above the moving average. Volume is very good down here. Momentum is positive. This looks very nice for some reason. There's an awful lot of buying here, and it's pushing the price high. So that's an interesting situation that I watch for. And again, we're talking about the switch. So we're looking for the trend line to be broken, the moving average to be broken, and then the resistance point here to be broken. And that gives us our switch. All those things put in place. So that gives us an idea that the market is starting to take off. If it does, well and good, we raise our stop. If not, we get stopped out and we start again on another stock. Okay, so that's Stockland. Again, it's been a very depressed stock for quite some time, but a bit of life has come back into it finally. So that's your Stockland stock for the moment. And again, my little favourite that I've been looking at for a while, the Terra Royalties. Again, I like to talk about these charts because I find them fascinating, how they behave, what they do. And looking at the Terra Royalties, it's still in this trading range, so really we're just waiting for this to break. But just watching what's going on here at the moment, it's trading the range down here at the lower of the range. It's now up here in the higher of the range, trying to bang through again. We've got a clear area of support through here. If it breaks here, it's back down to there. It may not, it may break here and it may go higher. I don't know, but we're still very interested in it. It's had a very good test of selling down here. If I just zoom this up a little bit, You can see the selling down here, so that was a really good challenge to the buyers, but they're still holding the price pretty well, and momentum is actually still positive, although it's eased a bit. So within this pattern, it's looking quite interesting. I like to talk about it, I like to look at it, but really what I need is a break of R1 to say this one's going to be off. And it's got a very nice yield, and we just have to wait. Trend intensity rating is 0 on Deterra royalties. Okay, the last one I have a look at today is a little gold stock. Shutter. Who knows what's going to happen with gold stocks as to what they do. However, Evolution Mining, it's been a fairly solid stock in the gold sector for a while. As you can see the downtrend there, it's come down, hit a low here, some reasonably good volume here, so it was supportive of it. We saw a good rally, a pullback to a higher low. Okay, so now we're looking for our switch point. We've got our accumulation, we've got a potential higher low, a little accumulation area. Then we're looking for the moving average to break, which it does break around back here. The trend line's around here as well as a horizontal line. So again, in different positions here, but you can see finally we've now got this break here and then the break at the horizontal line, and we're now starting to move higher. So that's really the switch area that we're looking at. The volume is a good sign, momentum is a good sign, trend intensity rating is +10 for Evolution. So that's, it looks very interesting, and it looks very positive for Evolution. Okay, so they're the stocks I wanted to cover for today. A little bit for everybody, a couple of leaders, some trend reversals, new highs, little tip, a couple of recaps, and even a gold stock there, as much as I am wary of those stocks. Okay, so that's really all the stocks I've got for you today. What I want to go into is just a little bit about this switch thing that I was talking about. Firstly, we all know what we first got to do is we've got to know why we're buying, so then we know what to buy. And that's really the basis of where we start, what our original premises are, why we do things. So that's the first point we go, what to buy, know why you buy, and you'll know what to buy. Then got to know when to buy. Okay, so when to buy is an interesting situation. Your trade plan tells you this. Okay, it gives you the answers. You ask the question, it gives you the answers, yes or no. It tells you when to buy and when to sell. Okay, so the switch is what I've been looking at today, which is the buy thing, and selling I might look at it another day, because that's a very, very hard thing to do. It's very easy to buy, not so easy to sell, because we've got expectations, we've got egos, all based on that sell price. Have we got the top? Have we not? Do we care? Whatever it might be. So buying's easy, selling's the hard part. Or accepting the sale, selling's the hard part. So what I'm looking for is a stock that moves from a downtrend to an uptrend. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is really what I'm talking about. The initial evidence that I need. A downtrend occurs, fine, prices can fall as far as they like, I really don't care. But once they stop falling and I get accumulation and support built in by things like volume showing, price action, i.e. the higher lows, when I get all this sort of stuff coming in like Breville Group or BlueScope or whatever it was, they're all happening under there, then I know that the chances are I'm going to get a good trending phase about to occur. So what do I look for once I've got those sort of things? The confluence, which I've been talking to you a little bit about today, horizontal resistance, which is usually the trend reversal point, the EMA, exponential moving average, where is that? And the trend line, which is not my highest priority, but it's there for a little bit of help for us. Okay, so if we look at a stock like BlueScope Steel, we can see very clearly, if I just blow this up a little bit here, you can see very clearly the downtrend we had in BlueScope Steel here, it was quite clear. We've isolated a clear reversal point here. We have no new low, so we pinpoint this area up here. Okay, so that's our horizontal line. So this now becomes our trend reversal area here. So if I look here, the average is broken, the horizontal line and the trend line are all broken in this area, and that is the switch area. So then I'm expecting a trend to develop. So that's what it looks like on the BlueScope Steel chart, and that was pretty clear message there. I mean, even on Goodman Group, we saw this a while ago. We can see this area here. Okay, depending on what happens with this, we don't really know. We're still in the trade, but we can see the reversal here. The downtrend line, the moving average, and the horizontal line are all pointing to this little area right here as our switch zone. Okay, and what normally happens is this happens. Now the subsequent things are what we've got to work out, pull back to a higher low, whatever it might be, if our stop goes off, we just deal with the trade as it develops. But this is really the switch zone, this gets us into the trade, this gets us started. Okay, so that's a really important thing, I think, sometimes knowing actually when to buy, what time it is, we tend to anticipate too much, so we've got to be a little bit careful. Okay, so that's, in a nutshell, that's the switch zone. I look for that accumulation, I look for that support, then I'm looking for the trending qualities to start to appear when stocks switch. Okay, so what's happening at Stockradar? A newsletter comes out at the end of this month, which is still a while ago. It's going to be a bumper edition because I'm actually going to be taking 2 weeks holiday in May, and I'll tell you about that a bit later on. Something that I need and I'm doing with my family, so that will occur. Right, okay, so that's about all I've got for you today, really. Interesting situation in the markets, lots of stocks to go for. So what we looked at today was clear evidence-based triggers can give you a good heads up on when the switch from down to up is complete and the trending phase is about to begin. And we then trade it accordingly. Okay, so each trade plan's all broken up into bits, isolating accumulation support, trend, when to buy, when to move your stop, when to sell, all these different things that you have, and you've got to have all these rules up that make you do these things. In fact, it is interesting that charts actually give you patience and discipline. Okay, don't anticipate, don't freak out, just let it happen as it should. We're always trying to think, will it break or is it going to come back, whatever it is. Don't do anything, just have to let the chart tell you, let the price action tell you as it develops. So keep a clear head, be patient, and let the market come to you. Okay, rather than you go chasing the market, chasing what you want to happen. So it's pretty important to sort of be pretty relaxed about this sort of thing, otherwise you are going to go nuts. So stay safe, watch your trends, heed your stops, give me a call if you need any help, and I'll be back with more insights for you next week. Good luck with this week's trade.